the manager of the Mountain Hardware store. Eric Faulkner says the town has seen its share of disasters.
Let's see, we survived the blizzard of 2023, we survived the fires of 2024, and now the flooding of 2025, so Wrightwood strong.
Emergency crews responded to those California Christmas floods. There was record-breaking rain, and the crews had to rush to respond to flash flooding and mud flows across the region. The administration is deploying some 350 National Guard troops in New Orleans ahead of New Year's Eve.
It's the latest federal deployment in the city at the same time that an immigration crackdown led by Border Patrol is underway. A Pentagon spokesman said the Guard members will be tasked with supporting federal law enforcement partners, including the Departments of Justice and Homeland Security. Louisiana's Republican governor welcomed the deployment, but critics argued the move is unwarranted, and they point out that New Orleans has already seen a decrease in violent crime. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Health insurance premiums are expected to increase in the new year after the Obamacare subsidies expired on schedule as they were originally drafted to do. Economist Steve Moore is criticizing Democrats for supporting Obamacare subsidies, citing an audit revealing significant fraud in the system.
Just 2 weeks after the government's own auditors, not the Heritage Foundation, not American, the government's own auditors said almost $100 billion has been stolen from these programs through fraud. The Democrats, every single Democrat said, stay the course.
Moore was interviewed by the Salem Radio Network. More from townhall.com.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-291-0628. That's 800-291-0628. 800-291-0628.
The African Union is rejecting Israel's recognition of Somalia's breakaway region. Here's correspondent Donna Warder.
On Friday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made Israel the first country to recognize Somaliland, Somalia's breakaway region, as an independent nation. And Netanyahu and Somaliland's president, Abdurrahman Mohammed Abdallah, signed a joint declaration.
I want you to know that I'm signing now, as we speak, Israel's official recognition of Somaliland and its right of self-determination.
On Saturday, Africa's regional governance bodies rejected the recognition. The African Union says it undermines Somalia's sovereignty and risks peace and stability on the continent. I'm Donna Warder.
Also at townhall.com, graphite mining is making a comeback in the United States after decades of inactivity. It's being driven by soaring demand for lithium-ion batteries. More from townhall.com. Thailand and Cambodia have signed a new ceasefire agreement to end border fighting.
This agreement follows several days of diplomacy, notably by Chinese officials. Unlike the last ceasefire in July, President Trump was conspicuously absent from this one, although the U.S. State Department has also been involved. Thailand had been reluctant, claiming that the last ceasefire was not properly implemented. The Thais also resented what they saw as Cambodia's efforts to internationalize the conflict. In the end, they struck the deal at a bilateral meeting, led only by the two countries' defense ministers.
And that is the BBC's Jonathan Head reporting. That region has been a source of tensions between the two countries for centuries. Fighting will surge in 2025 as border skirmishes over a contested temple land left casualties on both sides. More of these stories at townhall.com.
Tune in to Big Top Sports
with Derek Geyer every weeknight from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
You'll have sports thoughts from the center ring of Chicagoland and to the outer rings from across the nation.
Weather from Chicago Cubs,
White Sox,
Bulls,
Bears,
Blackhawks,
Stars,
Fire,
Boomers,
whatever the national story is of the day.
Geyer and his sports czar takes will either have you nodding in agreement,
yelling at the radio,
or in all honesty,
a bit of both.
With the way the Chicagoland sports and sports are in general, there's bound to be
thrills,
chills, and
oh my God moments.
So get your snacks and libations ready,
because this is going to be a wild ride.
Big Top Sports with Derek Geyer's quirky and insightful Fanatics take
will make you feel a little
or a lot better about your Chicagoland sports viewing experiences.
Tune in to Big Top Sports with Derek Geyer every weeknight from 6 p.m.
to 8 p.m.
And welcome in, everybody. There I am, all by my lonely today. Good morning, happy holidays. Coming off a great one, a fantastic Christmas Eve, Christmas Day games, Christmas everything. Oh, it's fantastic. Oh my goodness. I'm all by my lonely right now. I'll hold it down for a little bit. I know I got Mike Napolitano's usually hosting it away. My name is Nick Johnston on the ones and twos today. I know we got our good boy Dalton Cooper on assignment, chilling out. But we're here. We're live in studio. We're ready to rock and roll. Ready to talk some sports. Ready to talk Bears. Ready to talk. I'll probably talk a little White Sox, a little bit of Cubs, a little bit of everything else in between. Got Bulls. We'll probably end up previewing. Let's see, NFL coming up this week. We had Thursday night games. Obviously, yes, like I said, we had Christmas Day games. Me personally, I'm gonna quickly shout out the gal, just because I have the time, and like I said, I got a little bit of leeway right now. I'm all here by myself. I got engaged, got married, gonna get married soon. So shout out to my gal, shout out to Yesenia. Love you, baby girl. See you in a little bit. There we go, perfect timing, on the nose. Here he is. We got him. Let me get you all mic'd up and ready to roll. It's Mike Napolitano, ladies and gentlemen. We're ready to rock and roll here. As he flips it on and gets that stuff. There we go.
How are you? I heard you're giving your Mamma Mia. Is a good Mamma Mia?
Yeah, basically right now.
Congratulations.
It's the big Mamma Mia is the, oh boy, I got to go on a little bit of a heater of some gambling picks and gets reimburse that ring there, guy. But yeah.
I know you were talking about it last week. How did it all go down?
Oh man, yeah, that was good. I threw the video up on my socials. so if you take the time and if you really want to listen, you can hear the commercial background during the Kansas City.
Commercial background.
You can hear the commercials of the Kansas City and the and oh my God, I'm already blanking.
Did they play at Denver? No.
Yeah, they played the Broncos. Yeah. You can hear that background going on. It wasn't the BK like Whopper, what, as long as that wasn't in there. But the whole setup was very quickly. We were gonna do a Secret Santa. My parents came over, which they never do. We went over to my fiance. It's weird to say it out loud.
Right.
My fiance's mother's house. We usually convene there. Like I said, do a Secret Santa. For the first time in forever, my aunt didn't host, so my parents were free. I was free to go ahead and chill out. So I said, "Hey, come over." I called the fiance's mother and said, "Hey, let's not make it too suspicious. It's kind of softball it,
right.
Softball it to her, and then she'll tell my parents, and they'll tell two friends, and then they'll tell two friends. A long way of getting into it, but we set it up so that, hey, we're gonna do the Secret Santa. I'm like, oh, okay. My parents are like, okay, it's getting a little too crowded. Let's leave. But hey, I want to get one picture of you guys before we leave. Can we do that? And then I played the role of, oh, fine. Got up, got in front of the tree, and they're like, okay, 1, 2, and then on 3, I got down. Got on the knee, proposed, and it was nice. It was fun. I kind of blacked out for after that. I think I don't remember what I said. I think I said something along the lines of, "Do you want to chill with me forever?" or something like that. But I meant that.
It worked out.
I meant it.
Yeah.
It was real. So so there you go. That was a long way of getting there, but there you go. Married, officially locked it down. There we go. Game on. I got my ring before Derrick Rose, Carmelo Anthony. I'm sorry, I know it's a
oh no,
it's a big one, but that's okay.
Well,
it was fun. It was fantastic.
Dalton's not here today, but Dalton's next. Dalton has a girlfriend, so he's the next closest of this crew to. Well, I guess we got Derrick too. Although I think Dalton and his girlfriend have been together longer than Derrick. But I mean, hey, WRMN gonna have a lot of weddings in 2026, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Well,
should we live stream the wedding?
Yeah, right.
That's not.
What WRMN will be live streaming, of course, is the Bears games. You can get all of your Chicago Bears right here on the radio on AM 1410 WRMN. Tune in on your dial, on your radio, on your TuneIn app, and make sure you're tuned in here. You can go ahead and follow us along on YouTube. Jump on in the chat if you want to jump on in and join the discussion, of course, this morning. There's also, do you have that sheet with the phone numbers to call in? I always forget them off the top of my head. I don't know where we placed it. It wasn't over here last week. But the Bears themselves, boy, oh boy, what a week it's been here in Chicago, because it was not only a nail biter last weekend, but it'll come down to the wire of this season for not only seeding, but also matchups, playoff schedules, all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Before we jump ahead, we got to talk about what's happened last Saturday after we jumped off the microphones. It was Bears, it was Packers, it was at Soldier Field, and it did not disappoint at all.
No, that was amazing. That was everything you needed it to be. I mean, arguably, you could sit there and be like, that was 58 minutes of probably the worst football you'll see. And then the onside kick happened. And then, of course, the Jadon Walker touchdown. It was tough to watch. Like I said, I'm sitting there. I'm at my Packers buddy's house, who's, like I said, he's feeling it. He's feeling good. He's still a little nervous because that's just how he is a little bit around these games. But it was impactful again. It was eventful sitting there, just like every little play, every overthrow is kind of being analyzed by both us Bears fans and our Packer buddies. So
right.
Like, oh yeah, all right. But man, it was something else. It was an amazing game. I sat there. I sent it to the WRMN group chat. I meant it. Can you sit there and say that is not the most important or the best Bears highlight might of all time? Man, at least by at least a QB to wide receiver. If you want to sit there and argue that, yes, Devin Hester's opening kickoff return for a touchdown at the Super Bowl is important.
Right.
But
and I'm sure there were a couple Hester plays that come to mind, but I was thinking
Walter's
the exact
got
same
some
thing
in there for sure, too. But in terms of it was to maintain first place. It was to maintain first place in the division, even potentially get the first seed later down the line in the NFC. We'll get there when we get there. That's not completely out of the equation just yet. But on top of that, it was overtime, being down 10 points, recovering a fumble, which doesn't happen, or recovering an onside kick, which doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
For all those reasons on top of all that, and then just a dime of a play, and he puts his hands in his pockets. Caleb putting his hand in his pockets, like Steph Curry turning around before this three-point lands in the hole. Oh, my God.
The little shimmy at the end,
my
too.
My goodness, the imagery on that.
I'm too cold.
The imagery on that is just beyond amazing. And then to land just perfectly in DJ Moore's mitts. I mean, you couldn't play on top. And then on top of that, pass interference by Mixon, but that's okay. Game over, touchdown, 22-16 Bears.
Yeah, this was incredible. I'll say we talked a little bit about this last weekend, but I was at Disturbia's Christmas event over in Downers Grove, and there was a Packers fan there running our security. He had this game streamed on his phone, and we're looking as Bears fans, and it's 16-6 with about 4 minutes to go. And I looked and I just went, this game is over. This is terrible. And next thing I know, I'm getting the alert, miraculous comeback from ESPN, and I'm just like, what in the world are we talking about here?
The OT little notification.
Yeah, we couldn't run faster to the Hooters up the parking lot just to get in to see the game. And boy, oh boy, was that an incredible overtime. I mean, it didn't take long either. You get a crucial stop by the Bears defense, almost a turnover by Green Bay. I mean, there were a couple fumbles by the Bears throughout that game, and then it's like the game completely flipped on its head in overtime. Now, I know what Green Bay fans are going to say. They're going to say there was no Jordan Love and he was injured and that was a cheap shot because they were already saying it during the game. And you know what? I mean, hey, listen, do I think it was the cleanest play by the Bears ever? No. But when you're in December in this NFL season, next man up mentality. Like, if Jordan Love is your end all be all, and listen, Caleb Williams might be that too. There's always, of course, the discussions of, Bagent's got to come in. It's like, but, of course, that's only going to happen if there's an injury.
The Bagency is closed right now.
Yeah. And that's got to be the same thing with any other team. Your backup, I'm not saying is going to be a superstar, but you got to be willing to play with what you've got injury-wise. Both teams came into this game playing injured. Yeah. I mean, they had no Luther Burden and no Rome Odunze for the Bears. They almost thought they weren't going to have Swift. We reported on it last week that Swift was not going to be in this game, and he ended up starting. He ended up playing. On the other side of things, of course, the biggest headline was no Micah Parsons, but you got to play without Jordan Love. And in
Bears,
that overtime,
to be fair, the Bears also didn't have a couple of their defensive players as well. And then on top of that, no Luther Burden, who I argued was more important than the other receiver that was out, Rome Odunze, at least at this point in time down the stretch, where Luther Burden's had a couple of nice passes. Thank you very much. And then on top of that, the momentum, if you want to go all the way back to the very first drive of both teams, Bears had all the momentum going in, a loud ruckus crowd. Everyone had been reporting that this right now, this Soldier Field was loud and it was exciting, playoff feel to it.
Right.
And then they go down, Packers go down, drive. They get stalled out and ending on a fourth down. That was awesome. And then Bears go on the same thing and then try and go a little too. I don't know what exactly what it was supposed to be. I don't know if it was going to be a direct snap to Kyle Monangai or I think that's what it was supposed to be. It goes way over his head, and the Bears got just way too cute on the first drive when. I don't know. They had been averaging over 6 yards a carry on that first drive. I don't know why you don't run it up the middle again. That's just me. I feel as though that can get. Hopefully that doesn't start to happen with Ben Johnson a little too cute with stuff like that. Hey, let's just
maybe not what you want for playoffs, but I will say too, maybe it's what you want to experiment with in the regular season so that you know whether or not you can pull off something like that in playoffs. But fair. Do you want to do it against Green Bay? That's why I don't think that was an experiment type thing.
If it was again just the momentum, you had everything on your side. Took a long drive too, right. Took a lot of time off the clock. A 70+ yard drive. To end the way that it did, that was just can we just? At that point in time, for me, I was sitting there. I'm just I'm sick of everyone culture this and culture that, and you can't just get a good drive against this team who's just the boogeyman to you. You can't get this ship this off your shoulder. So.
But I mean,
it was
with those injuries to Luther Burden and Rome Odunze. I think we were talking about it a little bit last week. It has really opened up DJ Moore. And there was a lot of conversation when everybody was healthy of what the Bears are going to do going forward with DJ Moore, who is a veteran on an expiring contract. Do they trade him for something going into the playoffs? I was on the side, and I think we were both in agreement. I was on the side of no. You take him into the playoffs. You see what that pedigree. I'm not saying that it's he's been on losing teams his entire career, but the veteran presence and knowing how to be in a locker room and knowing what it takes to put up good numbers and get at least his individual job done, then he could pass that on to the rest of the team. That is invaluable to your Bears squad right now, and especially with injuries, right? But on the same token, if he's not catching the ball, if he's not even getting targets, then you're like, why are we paying him this contract if you're not going to use him? It's a little bit too many cooks in the kitchen type of thing.
Yeah, I think.
But the injuries have opened him up. I think you saw it in the overtime.
NFL Fantasy put up something right before, some little just animation. They're going into the fourth, DJ Moore had 2 points. And then coming out of overtime, he had 20, finished for 25 because he had 597 in a score.
I think that was the same case the week prior when they played
something very similar.
Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was the previous Green Bay game. But I know during this time, while there's been those injuries, he's been targeted a lot more, and he's actually come up. I mean, and I'm not saying this like I'm surprised, because we've seen this out of DJ Moore in previous seasons. We just haven't seen it that much this year.
Oh yeah, and you can. I mean, again, I sat there and I just said maybe 7 minutes ago that game-ending touchdown, that game-winning touchdown might be the most important play in Bears history.
Yeah.
What might be a very unsung, and no one will ever compare or talk about this again, might be that other first down that DJ Moore had on that fourth down drive to get there. It would be kind of the pass that went over the. It was a pretty long pass, like a 20-something yard long pass. Gets the first down, and then the play right after Colson Loveland grabs it for like a 5-yard out and goes out of bounds, just stopping the clock and that's what ended up setting up the eventual Jadon Walker touchdown. Which, shout out to him. Going into that game had one reception, 0 receptions, and ends up with one of the most important touchdowns in Bears history.
I want to learn how to hit the Juju slide.
Yeah,
I mean, it's one of the cleanest moves ever.
Like you're dancing on butter there, guy.
Yeah, you're when you see somebody do that, you're in a trance. I mean, that's unbelievable.
I feel like I'm gonna strain something doing that for sure.
Yeah,
I would get hurt.
I got too many left feet to be able to pull that one off necessarily, but you could try. We'll see. We'll see how it works. But yeah, I mean that was a crucial play as well, and I don't want to overlook any of that because
I hope they kept that ball. I don't know what they do with it. I hope they kept that ball. That's gotta go.
Yeah. Oh, I would imagine that's got to go at Hallis Hall, right? Like that's got to be up on display at some point. So. I mean, that doesn't, you don't get to overtime if that doesn't happen, right? I mean, those are crucial plays that can't be overlooked as well. So, I mean, it was just everything coming together in those final 4, actually, you said it best, 2 minutes for the Bears in order to take this one to overtime and make it one of the most exciting games against their rival ever. Shout out John LaFlamboy, friend of ours, that he was at the game and got one of the most viral videos behind the end zone. I mean, they were sitting at, I don't know if it was 200 level. From the height, it might have been 200 level, but looking down upon that end zone in which the Bears scored in overtime. And I mean, that had to have been one of the coolest views of that play. And Bears get the 22-16 win over their rivals, Green Bay. They, fell 2 weeks prior to that, not even 2 weeks prior to that, 28-21 in Green Bay. And there were some instances there where I think that the Bears team could have won that game. Just a couple of, it's all a matter of bounce. If you get a couple bounces your way rather than, Green Bay in their home field, I think you win. I do appreciate the Lambeau leap from DJ Moore after scoring that
amazing
touchdown.
Post game. Can't say what he said on here, obviously.
Yeah, no.
Amazing post game.
Yeah, we'd have to bleep that out. But also, you're talking about the fact that there were some cheap shots going back and forth.
Oh yeah.
How about on just a couple plays prior, the man covering him in the end zone when he makes that catch did hit him with a cheap shot right before that. So that's a little bit of instant karma going on right there. Yeah. And I'm sure that Green Bay was talking about that to an extent. But man, oh man, what a finish. But the job's not done.
No, not at all.
Job's not done. The Bears will have a 7:20 p.m. game tomorrow night against the 49ers. That'll be on NBC or Peacock, or you can listen right here on AM 1410 WRMN. The San Francisco 49ers are coming into this game with an identical record to the Bears, 11-4. The 49ers are 4-2 at home.
Quickly,
the Bears are 5-3 on the road.
Before we hop on into preview next week, I just want to quickly say 2 things.
Oh yeah.
Didn't realize, one, there was like so many events and so many concerts that just had the game on stage in the background, and
I did see a little bit of that. Yeah,
there was like an NSYNC cover band that went viral that was like playing during that, and they like waited the perfect moment as the touchdown was happening. They're like, bye, 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 bye. And they were playing it already. Like
that's awesome.
That was good. And then Caleb Williams, like the very next day or 2 days after, shows up to Cole Bennett's apartment and gives him the jersey. Did you see this?
I did not.
So he gave, I don't know if for those that aren't aware who Cole Bennett might be, he's or in all honesty, might be, again, a little bit of an age gap, too, for some people. Lyrical Lemonade, he's the producer or some sort of like...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he does a lot,
with
Lyrical Lemonade, who they have the connections with the Bears. They do the connections with the White Sox. They had like a Lyrical Lemonade like day. They had the concert as well.
They've done giveaways or like, dual... I have it's not Lyrical Lemonade. I have like a Hot Ones and White Sox hat.
Yeah.
It's something like that.
One of their collabs that they do. But yeah, I guess for Cole Bennett and Caleb kind of have a little bit of a connection. Caleb earlier in the season, I guess, was giving him a Bears tattoo. That was on his on his socials. So I guess this was like the follow up, giving him maybe one of the most important historical jerseys on the planet right now. I don't know.
Yeah, no kidding.
At least in Chicagoland history right now. So yeah.
I did see the Bears handing out Christmas gifts though, as well. So I mean that was really cool to get a big win like that, and then to immediately go on and be giving back to the community and not focused on the game anymore, focused on the people of Chicago. I thought that was a really nice touch. And something too that I watched on Christmas with family was the Shuffle, the documentary about the Super Bowl Shuffle. It's exactly 40 years since all that stuff went down. And the funny thing is that was another thing that was set up to feed the needy and also, give back to the city of Chicago and folks in need during the holiday season. And that was a little bit of a reverse because the Bears had just come off of a devastating loss. And they weren't used to that, those 85 Bears. So they lose, and most of the players you hear in the documentary are thinking, okay, well, maybe we won't do this. And guys like Mike Singletary and William Perry all said, well, no, like, we signed up to do this. We got to do this. Like, we not only is it for a good cause, but, like, also, we basically, we threw it down on the table and we said, we are the 85 Bears and we're going to go to the Super Bowl. And of course, there's the superstitions. No other team has done something like that. There have been other football teams that have tried to replicate the Super Bowl Shuffle and also record it before and then did not go on to win the Super Bowl. So, I mean, there's only been one instance of that. I'm not comparing it to now for exactly 40 years later, but what I'm saying is instead of a devastating loss, you get one of the best victories in Bears history, especially against your rival, and then you still go on and help the community. Maybe you're not necessarily doing any Super Bowl Shuffle, but you're still looking out for the city of Chicago, which I thought was a great touch.
My favorite, I guess, like a dub on that would have to be. Have you ever seen the show The League back in the day, or not back in the day, but
I've seen
mid 2010. Every right around fantasy football year, you'll see when your commish loses and it's the guy that's freaking out and crashing out and like the beating up the nativity scene.
Okay, yeah.
That's what that show is from, and they do the Shiva Bowl Shuffle.
Shiva Bowl.
Shiva Kamini. Hopefully people at home are riding along and know what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's good. It's good. It's always good to have some covers. Always good to be the copycat, I guess. Yeah, or the original first, obviously. So.
We were talking about the Bears and how they perform in division, and with this win over the Packers, their bitter rivals, the Bears are now they are 2-3 in the division. However, they have one more game against the Detroit Lions coming up, but that's after I previewed a little bit of that San Francisco 49ers action that we will see tomorrow night. That'll be a tough one. We're going to be bringing more of that information to you right here on AM 1410 WRMN. You can listen to all of your Bears coverage, whether it is here with our River Media Network Sports Saturdays, but also go ahead and tune in to the Bears actual broadcasts. It'll be 7:20 tomorrow is kickoff, so the coverage will start before that. You can hear all of that live right here on AM 1410 WRMN. You're listening to On the Rise. It's myself, Mike Napolitano, and Nick Johnson on the board. Feel free to jump on in the YouTube, text 505-926-1410, or call in at 847-931-1410 right here from Studio 14.
Here on WRMN AM 1410,
we like to keep you informed and in tune to what's happening here in the Fox River Valley and what's going on here on WRMN. We recognize the importance of local radio to be a part of the conversation and to be a part of the community for the community.
You know, we talked about the importance of community theater, but supporting community radio is a big deal too. And, you know, for WRMN, this is a really cool thing that you guys do every day, and a really important thing. You have to have a local media outlet to talk about what's going on in your town. So you guys do a nice job.
Tune in to AM 1410, WRMN. Don't forget, you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/WRMN Radio. Keep in tune and informed on what's happening here in the Fox River Valley, right here on WRMN. Are you dreaming of a getaway? Want to leave the stress of daily life behind? Whether it's a relaxing cruise or an adventurous land escape, planning the perfect vacation doesn't have to be a hassle. At Cruises International, they specialize in vacation destinations, land and sea, making your dreams come true. Located at 1721 Moon Lake Boulevard in Hoffman Estates, Cruises International isn't just about booking travel. They're your personal concierge, trusted travel advisor, and advocate. Your preferences are unique, and they'll take the time to understand exactly what you're looking for. From personalized service to their global network of specialists, they ensure that your vacation is tailor-made just for you. It's time to plan the vacation of a lifetime. Call 800-255-7447. That's 800-255-7447 today and speak to a cruise and vacation expert. Cruises International. It's time to set sail to your dream destination.
Businesses come in all shapes and sizes. Integrity doesn't. For more than a century, the Better Business Bureau has set the standards for how businesses should operate honestly and ethically. So when you're looking for a business you can trust, check to see who's BBB accredited and who isn't. Always choose the Better Business. Look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Kids today live in a world full of social pressure, bullying, and substance abuse. LEAD has a solution. LEAD connects law enforcement agencies with schools to deliver tested, proven, and effective anti-drugs and violence training to kids. Learn more about LEAD, Law Enforcement Against Drugs and Violence, and our work to create safer, healthier communities at leadrugs.org or on social media at We Are LEAD. Sponsored by LEAD, Inc.
Hey Bear fans, want your business heard during every heart-pounding moment of the game? WRMN 1410 is now offering in-game ad spots for Chicago Bears broadcasts. Be part of the action as thousands of die-hard listeners tune in each week. Whether it's a touchdown, a turnover, or a timeout, your message will be right there in the mix. Spots are limited and going fast. Call WRMN 1410 today and score big with in-game advertising that delivers results. WRMN 1410, where Chicago comes to play. Get in the game with the Chicago Bears and WRMN.
Want to know what the shepherds did after they visited the Christ child? Read the short novel, The Good Shepherds, a Christmas combat story by Michael Tooman. Available on Amazon in hardcover, paperback, and Kindle editions. Check out Michael Tooman's webpage at Silink.net. That is PSYLINK.net. Papa Sierra Yankee, Lima India November Kilo. November Echo Tango.
Welcome back to AM 1410 WRMN. You're listening to On the Rise. Nick Johnston on the board. Myself, Mike Napolitano, bringing some of the stats to you. And those stats are that you can call in to our studio at 847-931-1410. That's 847-931-1410. Or you could use the text line. Our text line is up as well. 505-926-1410, 1410. Or just jump on in the chat if you're watching along with us on YouTube. We know the chat's been typically pretty lively here in the last couple weeks. We want to hear all of your takes on this Chicago Bears team because we've got a couple different points we need to bring up going forward.
Yeah, I want to get some arguments going.
The first and foremost is, can the Bears go 500 in the division? that would be huge.
Huge.
2-3 right now. They've got one more game against the Detroit Lions, as I was previewing before we went to break. But they're going to have to wait a week because first up, it is the San Francisco 49ers, who are 11-4. They would be tied with the Los Angeles Rams for the top of their division if it wasn't for the 12-3 playing 800 football Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Did you see this coming from the Seahawks this year, especially with Sam Darnold at the helm?
I didn't. If you told me that the West and the North were going to be the most competitive just throughout the entire league on the NFC side, I would hesitate a little bit. I would be like, okay, maybe the North, okay. But the West, like, no, I'm just going to hand it over to the Rams. And it's going to be crazy how there might be a 10+ win team that doesn't make it into the playoffs if I'm kind of looking around, but I don't know. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, you've got, of course, all the teams that are eliminated are below 500, but Tampa Bay is still holding on. They're 7-8. Dallas has been eliminated at 7-8.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions have been eliminated at 8-8. Minnesota has been eliminated at 8-8. So, I mean, these teams could still rattle off wins at the end of the season. Let's hope not for the Lions, because that would most likely mean against the Bears. But, I mean, they could go above 500, and they're still eliminated from the playoffs. The Green Bay Packers are, of course, holding on with a 9-5-1 record. They've clinched, but it's going to come down to these final two games between the Bears and the Packers. That one tie against the Dallas Cowboys for the Green Bay Packers has been kind of a thorn in the whole division's side, mostly the Bears, because
we said as soon as it happened, we were like, yeah, that's gonna mess up everything.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, if the Packers win 2 games and go 11-5-1, the Bears, what happens if they lose a game in there? They'd have to lose 2 in order.
Well, it's as simple as the Bears need to lose out for the Packers to win the division.
Right.
Bears just need one win, and they got it. Which, again, if you told me that that's where I'll backtrack. If you told me that it's going to take 12 wins to win this division, that's where I'd be like, okay, that's pretty crazy. That's a little much.
Right.
So, but
Especially,
sure enough,
I think a lot of people thought that the Lions season was going to go very differently. Maybe another 14-win season for them. But also Minnesota, I mean, it was a little bit of a wild card situation with, a rookie quarterback. I mean, technically, yes, it's his year 2, but injured for his first whole year, J.J. McCarthy. So, I mean, listen, Minnesota, I don't think lived up to expectations. But for the Bears to be on top here, grab a hold of this. Hold on tightly. Firmly grasp it. Do not let go if you are the Chicago Bears. Get one win. Now, I know the last 2 games are against tough teams. Don't underestimate a division rival in the Detroit Lions, even though they're already eliminated. They're going to want to play spoilers, especially against their former head coach or former offensive coach.
Shout out Max Brosmer on the Vikings, throwing a total 1, 2, 3 passing yards in total after getting sacked and everything, and still being able to beat the Lions because the Lions beat themselves.
Yeah, honestly.
That was a brutal Christmas game to watch, might I add. And anyone sitting there relying on fantasy from these, again, I'm sorry to hear that. That is brutal. Jahmyr Gibbs got you, and he left you hanging in the fantasy championship.
Now, the Bears are of course, in first in the division, and like we were saying, they only need one more win to secure that. However, like we said, they're going up against 2 tough teams. San Francisco, who is 11-4, just like the Bears. And then, of course, the Lions will play them tough because it's division and the Lions can play spoilers. Of course, also, like I mentioned, the Ben Johnson thing. But if the Bears could also sneak out 2 wins and go 13-4, first of all, well exceeding my expectations. I predicted 9-8. So we're way past that point. I think I talked about that a couple weeks ago, and I haven't talked about it since because we're in another realm at this point. But if you could rattle off 13 wins in a season and hope that the Seattle Seahawks do not win another game, you're going to earn yourself a bye in the NFC. And that would be huge because I'll tell you this too. If the Bears take the 2nd seed, they would line up against the 7th seed. And that would most likely be Green Bay Packers.
Packers again, I said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, listen, I don't want a repeat of 2010 where you beat them in the regular season, but also you let them in, and then you lose to them when it counts, and they go on to win a Super Bowl, right? That's worst case scenario. But I think this Bears team is different. Let's hope injuries subside come playoff
having
time.
home field is going to be the most important.
And home field would be huge.
Where even if the Bears don't get the number 1 seed and let's say it stays in Seattle, can you confidently sit there and tell me that Sam Darnold is going to lead the way and the path to the Super Bowl lies through Seattle in that NFC? Trust me, it's a tough environment. Those fans are crazy. They finally have something that 12 means something to them again. But as the number 2 seed, I can sit there and be like, okay, I think they can fall down, and then this number 2 seed turns into the number 1 seed because bounce goes Seattle in the first round.
Right.
It's very tough to sit here right now with the way that Seattle looks. But Sam Darnold in January, I don't think we've seen that.
I don't think we have either.
So it's going to be a different ball game. It's going to be a different animal. And like I said, and I can't sit there and confidently tell you that Sam Darnold is going to take you to the promised land. So I'm very well on the Bears side. And on the flip side, can Seattle fans be like, oh, Caleb Williams, yeah. You know what? The Bears are here on a bunch of borrowed time right now, and we're not even scratching the surface of what Caleb Williams can do. And we're sitting here with 11 wins. Are all those 11 wins from Caleb? No, not at all. A majority of them, yes, and just the fact that he did not let the train fall off the tracks this entire time throughout the season. So that's where I tip the cap, and that's where I say, you know what? Even if you are the 2 seed, get it done. Still win in the first round, yes, but come that second round of the playoffs, you might be technically the number 1 seed. That's where I was getting at.
Yeah. Oh, no. I definitely agree. And yeah, I know there was coaching changes that happened in Seattle, just like there were coaching changes here in Chicago. One thing I brought up in the past, I don't know if we're going back a year now. It probably was about a year because it was talking about these Chicago teams and their rebuilds. And there was a lot of coaching changes going on, whether it was the Chicago Fire, Chicago Stars, Chicago Bears, Chicago White Sox. I guess you could throw the Cubs in there, but they had counsel for a year prior. But also the Chicago Blackhawks. I mean, pretty much every single team in Chicago had, Chicago Sky as well. I don't mean to exclude them. Every single team had a coaching change within that 2024 to 2025 time range, which is crazy. I mean, especially in crucial points of rebuilds for a number of those teams. Crucial points by, I mean, you wanted to have already had your guy by this point, and the Bears are one of them. You wanted to have your guy by the time Caleb Williams got into your pocket, right? By the time you drafted Caleb Williams, and that didn't happen. Eberflus was left on the table. We all know how that season went. And I said, probably about a year ago to date, I said that the closest team in Chicago to a championship, I don't know if I said it on air or if it was in one of our group chats, closest team in Chicago to a championship is the Blackhawks again, because they were getting Connor Bedard and the youth movement. And by youth movement, I'm talking Frank Nazar, Ethan Del Mastro, Kevin Korchinski, Ryan Green, Louis Crevier, Spencer Knight was coming in around this, maybe a little bit later, about February or March. But I mean, we're talking the Blackhawks were making moves. They didn't necessarily have Jeff Blashill yet. So yes, they didn't have their head coach. But they, with the young talent that they had drafted over the years and were developing, that's key too, developing, because we see how sometimes things don't get developed here in Chicago. That was the closest franchise to a championship. But you can see how NHL and MLB and all these other leagues are different from the NFL, where it only takes a couple of moves in the offseason for you to go from a sub 500 team to leading the division. And I'm not saying, like you were saying before, it's not all Caleb Williams. It's not all Ben Johnson. It's not all some of these new draft picks, but I mean, also we were talking about Kyle Monangai earlier, 7th round draft pick, and he's already making moves when Swift is down for the count. So you have that depth chart to rely on. You have that next man up mentality. And this Bears team has, I know you don't like the word culture, but they've embraced this new culture that Ben Johnson has built. But I think you're right. I think it's less culture and more just they're buying in to the style of play and the playbook and everything, the entire way that this organization is going to be run going forward. We heard from Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren too, but mostly Ryan Poles. We heard we're going to take back the North and never give it back. And Bears fans rolled their eyes because we had since that statement, 2 seasons of the Bears not doing that. Drafting high, having to make coaching changes.
Performing very bad against divisional teams.
Yeah. And,
on top of it.
And this was not promised, but here it is. 11-4, a potential to go 13-4 on the season. I don't think anybody saw this coming, but going back to my point, all of a sudden you see a Bears team that is no longer in a rebuild. But like you said, still very young. We haven't seen the best from Caleb Williams and some of these other role players. So who is closer now in their rebuild to winning a championship? It's got to be the Bears.
Oh,
and
without a doubt.
do I think that the championship is coming this year? No. But I know I was saying a couple weeks ago, too, that I did not see this Bears team going far if they make the playoffs. I'm starting to change my tune a little bit because looking at how the playoffs stack up in just the NFC, I mean, we could get to AFC in a second because that is insane.
Yeah.
But like you said, the Seahawks leading the way. I don't see the Super Bowl running through Seattle right now.
There isn't a team that even the Bears, like the players, they don't feel like they can go out there. They don't feel like they go out, but when they go out there, they feel like they're gonna beat anybody. That's the whole point. That's the proper mentality. And you know what? I'm kind of getting there too, where they showed up, they beat the Packers once. They could have beat them twice. They were competitive the entire time. That was going to be my.
And I'm cool with the split.
Yeah, as of now, yeah. Like, and again, that's kind of where I was going to be. Like, okay, that's where I need to figure out where we are based on what we do against the Packers. Obviously, the other big win was against the Eagles, dominating the way that they did, and going there for that. Yeah, another big challenge will be this week against the Niners, who are. I don't want to say that they'll pack it in. I think they still will also realize that they could be the number 1 seed as well. So they're gonna stay competitive. George Kittle might be out. We'll see about that. But yeah, they need to just keep and stay focused. And to quickly go back just to what you were mentioning earlier about my not too keen on the word culture, as I just feel like it's used and overused way too much. And the guy that has his podcast in his basement, like that's his that's their go-to word on Around the Horn. They used to have banned words. I feel like that needs to be like a banned word. Anytime I hear it, I gotta press like the censor button or something.
Just like a DJ Moore post-game interview.
Yeah. However, what I would say is, in terms of subscribing to what the message that Ben Johnson gives out, they can finally do that because the guy that's standing in front of all these other men is competent. He's a leader. They believe what he has to say because he's not just, I don't know, a bunch of cliches all wrapped up and then shoved into a Bears warm-up jacket. That's basically what it is. It's not basically like a hang in there poster walking around like telling you like, oh, you know what, you'll do fine. No, it's a guy that's actually down to earth, wants to win constantly. And he's just super. I think the word just competitive is the word that always wanting to compete. Super competitive is Ben Johnson. And when that goes from like just going to football to like his social life and everything around him, that's when all right, we got a guy right here. I believe in him. I'll run through a wall for him type deal. And I don't think any player was willing to do that with Eberflus. They're willing to go to war for this guy in Ben Johnson.
And I think he was the guy to get during the offseason. I think there were so many other teams that were vying for him. There were teams going after him even while he was still an offensive coordinator for the Lions in the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying that, I know there was the rumors and speculation that, his job hunt was what derailed the Lions from being focused in the playoffs last year. But he was, if that was the case, he was doing what was best for him and his family and his future. But B, there's also an aspect of, hey, the players still got to go out there and play the game. So can we really sit there and point the finger at at Ben Johnson for the Lions' downfall? No. But the Bears,
I would maybe say Aaron Glenn being gone had maybe a more influential issue. The fact that their defense just looked like Swiss cheese all year long.
Right. So yeah, there was that aspect to it. But I mean, the Bears went out and got their big fish, and the only question mark about Ben Johnson coming in was that he hadn't been a head coach. He was an offensive coordinator, and he was behind Dan Campbell. So how much of it was Dan Campbell and how much of it was Ben Johnson? I think when you had the two of them together, it was both of them. I don't think you can necessarily point the finger at either guy and say he was the whole reason for the Lions' success. I don't think Ben Johnson being gone from the Lions this year means that Dan Campbell isn't competent enough to get that Lions team to the playoffs, but they are eliminated, right? So, I mean, it wasn't the year that the Lions wanted. That has other factors to deal with there. But when you talk about Ben Johnson coming in, yeah, that was the question was, hey, can he do not only what he did with Dan Campbell, but can he be the Dan Campbell and be that guy? And he hasn't come short, I think, in pretty much any metric. I mean, we've talked about him experimenting here and there, running some questionable plays, but I think there's that feeling out period. And take this, even though this is Caleb Williams' second year, this is a lot of other guys' second year. Roma Dunze, you've got a bunch of veterans like we were talking about, DJ Moore. So a lot of this team has been together. This is Ben Johnson's first year.
Yeah.
So you have to take that into consideration that they're doing this well. Like you said, we haven't seen the best from Caleb Williams. I don't think we've seen the best from Ben Johnson either. There's a lot for him to still iron out with this team going forward. And he's still just kind of getting into the groove here with Chicago. I mean, we're talking this team was not expected to be this far ahead. I mean, maybe they had their own internal expectations, but I think the fans, after seeing year after year of empty promises, were just at least hoping for a winning season. And what I meant when I said I'm happy with the split against the Green Bay Packers, if the Packers were leading the division or at least above the Bears and the Bears maybe were eliminated from the playoffs, I still would have been happy with a split. You know why? Is because for however many, I think the Bears are 3-17 against the Packers in their last 20 games. Like so, I mean, a split would have meant, hey, the Bears got one against the Packers, just beat the Packers, just split with them. At the end of the year, the Packers fans that are, maybe talking trash about, hey, we're going to the playoffs and you're not, if, in a hypothetical situation, if the tables were turned, or is an alternate universe, the Bears fans could at least be like, hey, yeah, but we beat you this year. We finally got that win against you, and we're coming. We're coming. Instead, it's that the win against the Packers is like the cherry on top because the Bears are almost solidifying the division. They're beating teams like the Philadelphia Eagles. They have an 11-4 record. I mean, this was dream scenario. This is dream come true, basically.
I like when going back to my one buddy when I was watching the game, I like hearing the nervousness in his voice now when we're talking Bears and Packers. Like,
yes,
it's that small thing like, oh, like older brother beat. No, it's exactly what you just said. The Bears are on the rise.
Yeah.
I feel like I also keep harping on the Lions a little too much. It'd be, again, just to put it into perspective. If I told you that the Lions were going to score almost 100 more points, 98 more points than the Packers,
yeah,
and be at the bottom of the division, I don't think you and I would be able to have a radio. You'd be like, Nick, I'm gonna relieve you of your duties.
Yeah, I think we're gonna cancel the show at that point.
I think we're gonna go part ways. I'm gonna keep on the rise. You can have something else. But yeah, no, it is absolutely the stats that are up right now. And again, that kind of puts it in perspective. Where did Ben Johnson leaving have a big hole for the Lions to fill? Yeah, but they were able to do that and a little bit more, considering they have 460 points this year. Yeah. That's more than the Bears. But again, on the flip side, I think it is Aaron Glenn being gone. That type of coach that you see in Aaron Glenn, the way that if you ever have the time, you don't need to watch the whole thing, but just catch a clip of him or two doing post game. Or doing media stuff. The way that he talks and carries himself, it's like, okay, I want him in my building. I want that man organizing, being a part of it, and I think losing him was a very big issue for the Lions, if that really what came down to it.
Yeah, no, I see that as well. And it's just unfortunate what has happened over there. We talk about the Lions putting up a bunch of points. It's the only thing I think that scares me going into that final week of the Bears season is the fact that the Lions put up 50+ points against the Bears early on in the season.
For what it's worth, no Jordan Love this week, so he's going to be a little bit banged up. I'm trying to pull up maybe
for Green Bay.
Yeah.
But for the Lions, we're talking, I mean, yes, I know these teams are in two very different spots than they were when they met the first time this season, but it's still the Lions. They're still going to play the Bears tough. So can you still solidify that win is going to be the question. Another thing, real quickly, I just wanted to bring up, because I know Dalton's usually the one that tracks it for us here. Caleb Williams is sitting at 3,400 yards.
On the nose.
On the nose. So, do you think he's got 2 games left?
300 apiece.
300 apiece. Can he get there?
I would hope so. That if the game plan calls for it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think individual stats take a back seat when you're deep in the season like this and competing for that seeding. So,
would I love a 500-yard game right now?
That would be great.
But in my mind, that means that the Bears were competing. It's going to be like a 50-49 game, right? In that sense.
Yeah, that might be the game against the Lions.
That'd be fun. That'd be a banger. And that scares me more. A Lions team led by Dan Campbell with nothing to lose. That sounds scary.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot. It sounds like someone's going to get wrecked somewhere. But again, key issue coming up in this Niners Bears is just going to be a question mark for George Kittle. He's been a huge part of their offense when Brock Purdy's come back. He's had some nice games, but it's been kind of dicey with Ricky Pearsall all year, who's been having a nice game when he does play, but very rarely does he play. So we'll see how that plays out. But, of course, it's going to be really tough pickings anyways because you have Christian McCaffrey, a healthy Christian McCaffrey coming in to this week. So the Bears have themselves a bit of a task no matter what. Like I said, let's not jump ahead. Let's focus on the task ahead of us. And I think that's been what the Bears have been able to do all year. Again, that kind of showed me right there with that coming off a Packers loss, going into the Browns. They could put their feet up and maybe relaxed a little bit, maybe even lost that game, but no, they stayed focused and shut them out. So I'm not saying it'll be. It's gonna be close. I hope they at least keep it close. They're going on the road. Hopefully this is hopefully the California weather treats them right around this time. I know it's not too warm, but definitely warmer there than it is here. So
no doubt. When it comes to the future of schedules, of course, we mentioned the Bears have the 49ers and then the Lions. The Seahawks, they have the Carolina Panthers and the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
So a little bit tougher of a schedule for the Seahawks. When it comes to the Green Bay Packers, they have a little bit easier of a schedule. They have the already eliminated
that can
Minnesota.
Determine the first seed, but this week we have
and Baltimore tonight.
Oh yeah.
So
this week we have coming up the Giants and Raiders for potentially the #1 overall pick, whoever loses that game.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and quickly on that one, Max Crosby leaving the facility after being told that he's not going to play.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Whenever I sit there and I'm just like, you know what? Maybe my team's in shambles. Maybe my team is bad. But just like, at least we aren't the Raiders, baby.
You're listening to On the Rise here on AM 1410 WRMN. Nick Johnson and myself will be here talking sports for another whole hour.
Sports!
At Britain's Touchless Car Wash, they know life gets busy. That's why they're here 24/7 to keep your car looking spotless, fast, and easy. Their advanced brush-free wash technology delivers a sparkling clean without a single scratch, because they treat your car like it's their own. Here's the best part. Right now, you can get a free car wash just for joining their text club. It's simple. Just text BRITT to 30400, and your first wash is on them. Britain's Touchless Car Wash has 2 convenient locations, 1923 Larkin Avenue in Elgin and 555 Willow in West Dundee. They're proud to keep your car clean while giving back to our community. Text BRITT to 30400. That's BRITT to 30400. now for your free car wash and see why Britain's touchless car wash is the fast, gentle, and reliable choice.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410. Elgin time, 11 o'clock.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. The newly appointed envoy to Greenland says the U.S. is not looking to conquer the Danish territory.
Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry says the Trump administration wants to begin a conversation with Greenland's residents about the best way forward and isn't going to try to take over anybody's country. However, those comments seemed at odds with President Trump, who has repeatedly said the U.S. needs to take over the Arctic territory.
We need it for national security. We have to have it.
In response, the leaders of Denmark and Greenland demanded respect for their territorial integrity. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Record-breaking rain hit Southern California, leaving emergency crews to rush to respond to flash flooding and mud flows across the region. In hard-hit Wrightwood, California, this man manages the mountain hardware store and says they're using a generator to keep the doors open. People showing up.
Fire starting things, logs, wood, propane is a big popular one, tarps, things like that. Anything weather-related, that's what they're coming in for.
Meanwhile, quite a bit of snow in New York.
The storm used pretty widespread area of 4 to 10 inches of snow, anywhere from western and southern New York across southern New England. Some of the heavier totals were across the Catskills, where snow totals up to 10 inches occurred. And there was some heavier snow totals across upstate New York, around Poughkeepsie, and then eastward into Connecticut, where snow totals were about 6 to 10 inches also.
That's Bob Oravec with the National Weather Service. Holiday sales exceeded last year's totals, but the real story may have been changing consumer behavior. Thrift stores attracted more shoppers this year, and early season buying became the norm as people chased deals long before December. Digital shopping continued its upward climb, powered more than ever by AI tools. More from townhall.com.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
In sports, it's the dream team. And if your car is out of warranty, there's a team for that as well. You, the driver, your mechanic, and Endurance to pay for the repair bills. I'm Danica Patrick. In the past 5 years, auto repair costs have gone up over 36%. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all. With an Endurance auto protection plan, no matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done by the certified mechanic of your choice. Plans cover 24/7 towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, and lockout services. Act now and get the benefits of our Elite Plan, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again. So call now for your free quote.
Call 800-454-4558. That's 800-454-4558. 800-454-4558.
Here's one restaurant where they don't need to hire too much in the way of wait staff. A giant Lazy Susan brings people together at a cherished Mississippi eatery, as correspondent Julie Walker explains.
The Lazy Susan, that round spinning tray that can offer up food, is making one Mississippi restaurant a big hit when it comes to dining with strangers. The Dinner Bell in Macomb only has 4 round tables seating 15 each, with giant Lazy Susan spinning in the middle, offering up Southern comfort food. Owner Andre Davis.
People who discovered they were related and didn't know it, to discover they were neighbors and didn't know it.
Just ask repeat customer Wayne Dyson.
One of the best parts about coming to eat here is you get to meet new family every time you come up.
The restaurant's been around since 1915 and it's known for its fried eggplant. I'm Julie Walker.
Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Wild hogs are making themselves right at home in one southern state.
In Mississippi, wild hogs create about $70 million in damage every year between eating crops and damaging property. Farmers, researchers, the state and federal government are trying to fight the infestation, but it's a never-ending battle. Farmer John Parker Campbell and his father use traps and have electric fencing around their property. The fencing is effective, but it's an expensive initial investment and costs thousands of dollars each year to maintain. Over the past 4 decades, the wild hog population has spread from 17 states to 35. Keith Peters, Washington.
After years of being dormant, U.S. graphite mines are drawing fresh investment as battery demand spikes and trade strains with China increase. Titan Mining Corporation among the companies preparing new operations aiming for commercial sales of their graphite by 2028. More of these stories at townhall.com.
Systems run everything. Government, economy, media, justice. They shape your choices, your opportunities, your future. But do they work for you or against you? On Apolitical Talk Show, we break them down, not to destroy, but to understand. Because if you don't see how the system works, you won't see when it's being manipulated or who's benefiting from it. Power belongs to those who know the rules, challenge the loopholes, and demand accountability. That starts with knowledge. That starts here. Join us weekdays from 4 to 6 p.m. as we uncover what's really happening behind the headlines so you can decide for yourself what's fair, what's broken, and what needs to change. Apolitical Talk Show, breaking down the systems to build them up together. Right here, weekdays 4 to 6 on WRMN, the talk of the town.
Right back in here in Studio 14 for AM 1410 WRMN. Nick Johnston on the keys, myself, Mike Napolitano, here with On the Rise. All of your sports news as a part of your River Media Network Sports Saturdays. Sports. And boy, oh boy, is it a miracle that the Bulls are even 500 at this point. We were singing a different tune, I don't know, maybe a month ago? Wow, this Bulls team coming out the gates hot. Wow, can you believe it? Where did this come from? And then reality kicked in. But back to 500 and back to being in, what do you know, a play-in round spot. Woo! Yeah, Bulls. Deja vu. Let's do it all over again. Let's get a low draft pick. Let's get nowhere in the actual playoffs. Let's not even make the actual playoffs. Let's just play in the play-ins. And oh, look, the usual players have come to play. The Atlanta Hawks are right below the Bulls in that play-in round spot. So the Bulls can get that first win if the season were to end today against the Atlanta Hawks. And then in that 8th seed, the Miami Heat. Yeah. So that means the Bulls have a great chance at going up against, I don't know, those teams that bounce them in the play-in round spots each and every year. Let's do the exact same thing. Let's continuously run our head into that brick wall and see if anything changes.
The Bulls are your elementary school math teacher in the sense that they show you 17, 18, 19 different ways to get all the same answer.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Show your work.
Yeah.
In this case,
the different exponents.
Not a whole lot of work.
The X equals this, Y equals this, but at the end of the day, the answer is always play-in tournament. That's always the thing.
If you thought we could be mediocre with Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan and Nikola Vukovic, wait till you see us be mediocre with Nikola Vukovic and Josh Giddey and Kobe White. Yeah. Woo! Well, speaking of mediocre, the Bulls are right on the nose, 15-15 through the first 30 games of this season. But it was a little bit better of a week. I don't mean to rag on the Bulls completely. They did get a couple of wins here as of late. In fact, they're rattling off a win streak. They've won 5 in a row. So all of this that I'm talking about, the Bulls are mediocre. 5 wins in a row is still 5 wins in a row. Do I believe that this is sustainable and will get the Bulls back on track for the entire rest of the season? Absolutely not. I've seen this one already. It is that Back to the Future. I've seen this one.
These are the runs that counter and balance out, that wash away the 7-game losing streak that they had and stuff like that. So
right.
This is the, again, when I always say and sit here, water finding its balance. This is the water doing exactly that, coming back to level, coming back exactly where it needs to be.
You mentioned that 7-game losing streak. The Bulls had that back in
that
November
means we are due
into
to spill
December
again.
Right. Before they won against the Charlotte Hornets, lost against the Pelicans. So that was 1-8 in their last 9 before going on this run of 5 straight games. So even if you take these 5 straight wins, they are 6-8 in their last 14.
Yeah.
So, but hey, listen, they're getting wins. Those were against Cleveland. We talked a little bit last week about that game against the Cavaliers, so a team that's above them in the standings. They get a 136-125 victory over Cleveland in Cleveland, so that was huge. I think we had prefaced that last week during our show because that had happened, December 19th. So going into this week, it was the 2 games in Atlanta. Now, usually, we talked about this last week, you have a home and an away game against a team that you're playing back-to-back. In this case, it was both games in Atlanta based on the holidays and travel and all that good stuff. Well, bad stuff for the Bulls, but they turned it into good stuff with a 152-150 win over the Atlanta Hawks. Now, you'd be thinking that this game went to overtime. No, absolutely not. This was 150 points put up by both teams. So 300 in total, 302 in total in the entire game in just 4 quarters.
And on that day, not a single ounce of defense was displayed.
Both teams come up with 38 in the first quarter. The Bulls put a 45 spot in the second compared to Atlanta's 35. But Atlanta comes back with a 42 spot in the third compared to the Bulls' 33. So getting the Hawks back on track. They were still down 1 point going into that fourth quarter, and the Bulls just eked them out with a 36-point fourth quarter to the Hawks' 35 to take a 2-point deficit or 2-point lead in that victory right there.
Do you think when games happen like that, like when it'd be like a guy like Ben Wallace or like
one guy going off specifically?
No, just like an old player like Ben Wallace or maybe like I don't know, like a Greg Monroe. I'm only naming Pistons players right now for some reason, but like they really like I just think of the greatest defender of all time and just sit there like what's wrong? Be like, I got an itch. I don't know what's. I feel weird. There's like a disturbance in the force.
Yeah.
Like, just somewhere. Bill Lambier is sitting there. Again, another Piston. Bill Lambier sitting there like, I don't know what's 150. What's going on, man?
I would not doubt it.
And that's I don't know. I was also sitting there. I think we've had this conversation before where gone are the days of a lockdown defenders and the Tony Allens of the day where they don't care about their scoring and stat line. They're just sitting there like their goal is to lock you down and make you look like a kid again at the rec league games. But exactly that, where I guess the defensive mindset now is no longer like, okay, we're not going to stop you. We're just going to score more than you, faster than you. And, just like, oh, you're shooting 2s, we're shooting 3s. And it's just, I can see where that's kind of where the game is headed, or if that's where it's already at. And I'm not maybe I'm just the last horse to cross the finish line. But it is annoying. It is truly like, okay, it's put in some effort, and you don't need to score 150 points every single time you go out there.
No doubt. I mean, you talk about players who had career nights. For the Bulls, 28 points from Matas Buzelis. So that was really spread out throughout the entire lineup.
Develop, my son.
Josh Giddey had 9 rebounds and led the team in that stat as well. But it was Jalen Johnson that led the Hawks.
He's been on a tear lately. He's been on a tear lately with Trae Young kind of playing games, but not being the same Trae Young as he has been as of late. Johnson's been having himself some big games. I know he had a 40 or maybe even I think he had a 40-point triple-double against the Charlotte Hornets. They ended up losing, so it wasn't big on everyone's highlights. It wasn't front page news, but he's been having some big games for Atlanta. So don't be surprised if he gets maybe an all-star nod later on down the line.
Gotta be, especially if they go back and look at this game. 36 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. Josh Giddey led in, like I said, rebounds and assists with 9.
And I pulled that back thinking about it now too. It's just like I don't even know if that means anything nowadays because they're doing like
5-on-5.
Yeah, true.
Team Charles versus Team Chuck versus Team Ernie versus Team, Kenny the Jet. So I don't even know what the All-Star game is anymore or whatever.
All-Star games are still a thing.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
All Pro or All NBA. That's probably what he's vouching for.
But that next game in Atlanta did not disappoint scoring wise as well. No defense in that one either. A 126-123 win for the Bulls to pull them within one of being 500. The Atlanta Hawks, after that one, they dropped to 15-16, so just under 500. But once again, I mean, it was no defense, full points on display, no overtime in this one either, 126-123. Maybe not putting up 150 points, but still a huge deficit. Josh Giddey once again leading in rebounds and assists with 11 and 15 respectively. Kobe White led this Bulls team in points in this game with 24. Jalen Johnson matched that and also had 9 rebounds to lead the Hawks, but it was Trae Young who did finally sneak in there with 15 assists, the same as Josh Giddey, but it wasn't enough for the Hawks to get the win, so the Bulls take home both games in Atlanta before coming back home last night, a victory against the Philadelphia 76ers, 109-102, and this was a little bit of a mix-up. You had really nobody leading you in points for the Bulls. I mean, it was by committee. It was Jones who led the Bulls with 15 points. Trae Jones, not really known for being the high-scoring guard for the Bulls, but came up big in this game with 15, and like I said, it was more so by committee. You also had your typical 11 assists from Josh Giddey, but Jalen Smith led in rebounds with 8. A lot of familiar names on Philadelphia's side, though.
Yeah, I thought that the box score, just looking at exactly that, when I saw Trae Jones was the leader in scoring, I'm just like, let's take a look. Let's dissect what happened here. But if you told me that the leading score was 15, but everyone at least scored 7 or 8 points, I'd be like, okay, that's awesome. That's actually might be more impressive. Having a game where everyone everyone ate this game. Everyone had it. Zach Collins at 15, Trae Jones at 15, and shooting effectively, almost 50% from the floor. So that was really nice to see. Again, I look at it and be like, is this formula going to be winning championship basketball? Is this what's going to be? The Thunder do not look at this and lose sleep over this. They're not shaking in their sneakers over this lineup and seeing all this right now. However, can it be effective? Yeah, sure, but Chicago just needs a star, and I think Modest could turn into one. Sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can see that.
They need a true number one stud and. Maybe just we don't just sit here and flirt on this one too long, but I heard this conversation. I heard this argument. Again, no rumors. There's not a single person on the beat thinking that this is going to happen. But SGA needs to get out of OKC.
Whoa.
Okay, sure. They're winning.
I was going to say, I don't know about that.
Yeah, they're winning. Sure. But in terms of his brand, in terms of how big of a star he can truly become, is it really going to be laying away and wasting your time in Oklahoma? Sorry, Bubba. Sorry, Grant. I know, but it is what it is. You got to go out there. You got to go to a big market. You got to go to a place that's going to, show you off and show you what he needs to be. Yeah, again, is SGA... I feel as though right now, yes, everyone knows who he is, MVP of the league, coming off a ton of publicity and everything. But he could be more. He could be an absolute superstar, stud on the same level of Steph Curry, LeBron James in terms of name value, not just what they put on the court. In terms of when you go to like a show or you just regular pop culture stuff. If you went to a different country right now, you'd be like, oh yeah, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Michael Jordan. If you said SGA, if you said Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they'd be like, Okay, maybe certain pockets in Canada where he's from, I'm sure they'll get. Oh yeah, of course, yeah. But I don't know. I'm kind of off on a tangent right now. If that was my softest lob of hey, maybe SGA should go anywhere, maybe come to the Bulls. That's kind of where it kind of ties into. So my halfway argument of like, you know what, the Bulls need a star. SGA should consider leaving Oklahoma some time down the line. Maybe not right this second.
I wouldn't hate it. Even if it was getting Shai Gilgeous-Alexander a little bit past his prime. But
he's
yeah,
still young.
I think that OKC team is just going to go on too many runs for him to want to leave there.
I know this was me being like I said. There's not a huge amount of seriousness in my voice when I talk about this.
It'd be nice.
I do believe when others do say like SGA is kind of wasting his time. I'm like, yeah, he's winning, but is he truly maximizing the dollar amount that he could be making in his career? Where, you know, it's like you just said, it's a limited window. It past his prime. Is he going to be making? Can he have the same opportunity? I don't know. I don't know. Can't sit here and confidently tell you that.
There's also the fact that even if he does decide to leave OKC, what are the chances that the Bulls are going to spend the money to attract him to come here?
Yeah, of course. I know. That's why I said I wasn't prepared to have this whole thing. This was just a small side piece that I had with one argument, and it kind of tied in with another, and I can see if they can somehow, you know, kind of like a double helix, like a DNA.
Yeah.
I can see if they can kind of tie together and start linking, but no, I don't think the proteins are breaking apart and it's kind of crumbling on itself. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Well, is SGA I think SGA is not a lifetime Thunder player. That I will say. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Grant's turning in his I won't say his grave because he's not dead, but Grant's
no, he's very much alive. He's
Grant's having an aneurysm at home.
There we go. Yeah.
Going on and on about this because his
back and forth.
His Thunder, he doesn't want anything.
You're doing that thing where you're typing because you're so angry, and then you start deleting because you come up with a better argument. And then you come up with a better argument, and then you type again, and then whoever is you're mad at is already onto a different topic. So.
Yeah, and then you hit send, and then you're in the shower later, and you realize, I could have thrown that in there.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking Cubs and White Sox by the time he gets the message off.
Well, we will talk about another Jerry Reinsdorf run team in just a second, but to wrap up on the Bulls, actually, we were talking about the Bears earlier, and at one point in that Bears game, they had a 0.9% chance of winning that game. The Bulls last night, similar situation. They had a 29% chance of winning the game with 2:45 to go in that fourth quarter, but shows you how much basketball can flip things on its head because they came out and returned to the United Center with a win, a 109-102 victory against the Philadelphia 76ers.
I have it right here if you want me to play. I got Kobe White's go-ahead three-pointer.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so here we go. Let me pipe it up right quick, and I think we should be... Oh, good. There we go. This is Kobe White's go-ahead three-pointer right here.
White's got the big. 12 to shoot. White. Step back. Kobe White. And then Kobe White on Embiid on the step back.
Right in front of
Joel Embiid.
Right in front of Joel Embiid, who is... Up until recently, I think he was undefeated against the Bulls for a long time, and then he's starting to slowly get a couple losses against us, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I think that was for what it's worth. I think that was from either NBA TV or Peacock. I can't tell based on the score bug. So I'll play it safe and say it was from one of those. But yeah, that was humongous. Again, that the spread, the way that they spread out the scoring, which is nice, and exactly like you said, a nice little comeback, a late comeback for the Chicago Bulls.
That comeback brought the Bulls to an even 500, as we were talking about earlier, 15-15 on the season. Their next matchup will be against a surprisingly weak Milwaukee Bucks team. I mean, I think they've had a number of great seasons in a row, and it's just kind of catching up with them, but you can never underestimate them. They still have Giannis Antetokounmpo, so that'll be a 7 p.m. matchup tonight at home against Milwaukee. when you look at the rest of the upcoming schedule for Chicago, it doesn't get super easy. I know we were talking about that last week, but going into the new year, the Bulls, I mean, with being a 500 team, you never really know, and they'll have their work cut out for them. It'll be a home game on Monday night against the Minnesota Timberwolves at 7 p.m. Anthony Edwards will be there to, I don't know, probably take it to the Bulls. That'll be the first time these two teams match up this season.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that Christmas game. They were going back and forth between them and Denver. Denver got the upper hand
and Denver's on fire this year.
Yeah, Jokic had a 50-point triple-double, but it was Jamal Murray kind of going back and forth because Anthony Edwards is a talker. So
yeah,
and rightfully so. He's got the confidence to do so. He's a great player. But yeah, that'll be a real challenge there for the Bulls, having Minnesota coming into town, seeing how they look.
The Bulls will get a little bit of a break with a weaker Pelicans team that comes to town on New Year's Eve. That's a 6 p.m. tip-off. Friday, January 2nd, it'll be still at home against the Orlando Magic at 7 p.m. And then Saturday, January 3rd, will be the final game in this nice, lengthy home stretch. It's 6 games in a row at home for the Bulls. Hopefully they could rattle off some wins, but that Saturday game after we jump off the mics again will be against the Charlotte Hornets at 7 p.m. So,
and if I could do some self-plugging, January 2nd and 3rd, while they are Bulls games in town, it's gonna be a busy little Chicagoland area. Hoffman Estates is also going to have Windy City Bulls. So if you just miss out on some tickets there, you're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go over to Hoffman Estates, a little bit easier, a little bit cheaper, free parking. Let me ride over there. And not only that, is back to back, it's going to be the Cards and Collectibles night.
Oh, so right.
That we were talking, I feel like we were talking about this maybe a week or two ago, where they're going to have the Cards and Collectibles. So it's a big old card or collectibles sports memorabilia show. Come on in. There's vendors. There's going to be the little Gus T. Bull inside of an 80, I think it's like a 1984 style Fleer card. If you kind of remember those,
right?
If everyone's seen the famous Michael Jordan rookie card, it basically has that same border. That's the style it's ripping off of. So it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be always a fun time. And then on top of it, basketball. you got the little bit of a revenge game. You got Mac McClung's Oscola Magic coming into town for both those games. Yeah. So that ought to be fun. He had a game winner not too long ago, Mac McClung, against the what was formerly known as the Indiana Mad Ants. So that was nice. It's been nice to see. It's been a little bit of a break. Like I said, I haven't been over to Hoffman since the beginning of December because they went on a
long road trip December, and I don't think you were mentioning they don't have another home game until the new year, right?
Yeah, exactly, January 2nd. But we are there. We're there for like 5, and we make up for it. We got the January 2nd, the 3rd, the 8th, the 10th, and the 11th all at Hoffman Estates. So it's gonna be nice. Like I said, making up for it.
That should be good. As far as Bulls basketball and Windy City Bulls basketball goes, you can catch all of your news here on AM 1410 WRMN. We're always talking here on the Rise about the Bulls weekly, but also we have our very own Nick Johnston, who is in the house for the Windy City Bulls. And as that season progresses, we'll get a little bit more on that, especially when we have some big nights like the card collectibles night.
Yeah.
So make sure, I guess we'll have to get over there for some press possibly throughout the new year, and I'll have to see what that entails. But I know it's always a good time over at the Now Arena. One thing I did want to bring up, and you can catch it's a little bit past us now. Last Sunday, we were in attendance for the Women's Hockey League, the PWHL, Professional Women's Hockey League, that came to Chicago. Now, it was the Minnesota Frost versus the Ottawa Charge. Minnesota has Chicagoland native Kendall Coyne on the team and Olympian Kendall Coyne Schofield. And then also on the Ottawa Charge, it was Joliet native Taylor House. So you had a couple of hometown girls returning to play in front of their families and home crowds and stuff like that. I think this is going to be a movement that is going to bring a team to the Chicagoland area. And when we talk about Windy City Bulls, all the speculation, all the hype is where are they going to put a professional women's hockey team that has a big enough capacity, but you also don't have to share any kind of ice time. Maybe there's some boards left over from an ECHL Chicago Express team still available, so you just need a crew to build an ice rink over there. That would be at the Now Arena, formerly the Sears Center. So
nice job on that video. That was really good with the content, you guys asking the questions. So make sure you guys check that out too.
Thank you. Yeah, head on over to our socials for all of that content. You could catch that on Instagram or Facebook, AM1410 WRMN, or On the Rise, or myself, Mike Napolitano. We got Nick Johnston on the board. We're right here for On the Rise as a part of your River Media Network Sports Saturdays for AM 1410 WRMN.
Hi, this is Sherry Aschenbrenner, Vice President of Dementia Friendly Elgin Area. Everyone knows somebody living with dementia. Caregivers and friends of those with dementia are always welcome at our Elgin Area Memory Cafe, always the second Tuesday of every month at 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the South Elgin Public Works Building, 1000 Bowes Road in South Elgin. Also, Dementia Friendly Elgin Area gives free 20-minute dementia awareness trainings to local businesses, church groups, to bunco groups. Just invite us. If you'd like to get put on Sherry's senior email blast list, please email us at dfelist@gmail.com. Also, you can go and visit our website at dementiafriendlyelginarea.org.
Tune in to Sherry's Senior Moments radio show on the second Thursday of each month at 9:05 a.m. until 10 a.m. on WRMN AM 1410, WRMN Radio app, or WRMN Radio on YouTube. That's Sherry's Senior Moments, providing resources and information for our seniors in the community.
Welcome to downtown Elgin, where businesses, community, and creativity come together. The Downtown Neighborhood Association provides valuable, complimentary services to all downtown businesses, organizations, property owners, and residents, helping you gain exposure and thrive. Whether you're already part of the district or exploring a new downtown location, DNA is here to help your vision grow. Join us in creating a vibrant, connected, and successful downtown Elgin. Call now, 847-488-1456, or you can email info@downtownelgin.com. Ask for Jennifer Facala. Downtown Neighborhood Association, where the heart of business beats strong.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
It's easier than you think for pests to threaten your family's health. Ticks, which spread dangerous diseases, hide in tall grasses and even on your pets. Rodents easily invade your home, contaminate food, and can carry more than 35 diseases. Mosquitoes, which breed in standing water, transmit many diseases. Get the facts you need to protect your family at pestworld.org. It's that easy. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
Looking to set sail on your dream vacation? Cruises International has you covered. Specializing in land and sea getaways, they're here to make your vacation unforgettable. Located at 1721 Moon Lake Boulevard in Hoffman Estates, they offer personalized service with a global network of specialists to ensure your trip is tailor-made just for you. Call today at 800-255-7447 to speak with a cruise and vacation expert. And don't miss Travel Tuesdays on WRMN AM 1410 every first Tuesday of the month from 11 to 12 p.m. on Out to Lunch. That's Cruises International. Your vacation, your way.
Welcome back to AM 1410 WRMN River Media Network Sports Saturdays. You're listening to On the Rise. Myself, Mike Napolitano, and Nick Johnston on the board today. Dalton Cooper, MIA. He is still visiting family for the holidays, but he'll be back hopefully in the new year. Of course, yeah, this is our last show of the year.
Yeah.
But we've got a little bit more to bring you as far as sports news. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. A lot of stuff going on. First and foremost, we were still talking a little bit about the PWHL coming to town, Professional Women's Hockey League. We did get a chance to speak to Kendall Coyne-Schofield and Taylor House, the two natives, but also a couple of Olympians in the form of the Ottawa Charge head coach and also the Frost head coach. The Charge get the overtime win in that one, 3-2, with the first ever Professional Women's Hockey League goal for May Batherson. So she nets that one. There was also a first-time goal for, May Batherson was on the Frost side of things. It was a first PWHL goal for Sarah Wozniewski. So the real big showing for the Charge. Of course, these are the two teams that went to the PWHL championship last year. The Frost get the better of the Charge in that one, but that brings them to the defending back-to-back champions, and it'll be a challenge to go for the three-peat for Minnesota this year, especially if Ottawa plays them like they did at the Allstate Arena. Friend of the show, Hannah Arbitman, was there hosting the event. I did mean to get an opportunity to talk to her beforehand on the show, but we did get a chance to talk to her at the game, so go ahead and check those interviews out. Like I said, those are on all of our socials, and I've got a little bit more content from that coming out pretty soon as well. But PWHL doesn't come back to Chicago until March, so in the meantime, you'll just have to settle for Blackhawks hockey. And by settle, I really mean settle. Without Connor Bedard, the Blackhawks have fallen from a wild card spot to the worst team in the league. 36 games played, 13 wins, 17 losses, 6 overtime or shootout losses, bringing them to a total of 32 points. That is 32nd best in the league out of 32 teams. So Gavin McKenna sweepstakes, here we come. The Blackhawks have had a lighter week due to the holiday schedule, but they still had a couple of games within this past little stretch here. Those would pretty much all be losses. I think we left off, was it that Montreal game that we talked about? Was that 4-1 loss to Montreal last week? Let me just double check my dates here. That was December 18th. Yeah, so that was the last game that we had talked about. That was Frank Nazar getting the monkey off his back, scoring the lone goal for the Blackhawks. He hadn't scored in quite some time. But then it's an Ottawa Senators team that has looked better at times, but still has that shakiness to them. If you're the Blackhawks, you cannot have a showing in Ottawa like this. And by showing like this, I mean giving up 1 goal in the first, 2 in the second, and 3 goals in the third period after the Blackhawks came back and had things level after 2 periods with a 3-goal second period. Chicago is scoreless in the first. They're down 1-0. They rally off 3 in the second period and go into the intermission tied at 3. And they did a lot of work to climb back because Ilya Mikheyev scores to tie things back up after that Brady Tkachuk goal in the first. Tim Stützle scores a shorthanded goal and puts the Senators back on top. Andrei Burakovsky for the Blackhawks responds on the power play, assisted by Ryan Green and Artem Levshunov. That's Green's second assist of the game. Brady Tkachuk, though, goes right back to his scoring ways and helps the Senators take a 3-2 lead, to which the Blackhawks' Ilya Mikheyev, his second goal of the game, responds once again. The Blackhawks go into the intermission tied at 3. So you've fought through 40 minutes of this game to stay level. And then you give David Perron 2 goals right off the bat in that third period. Nick Lardis answers for the Blackhawks with 1, assisted by Alex Vlasic, but it's Fabian Zetterlund to put the exclamation point on a 6-4 win for the Senators. Not what you want to see for Chicago, but okay, you're on the road. You come back home. You've got 1 game against Trevor Zegras and the Philadelphia Flyers. right before the Christmas break. All you got to do is get a win on home ice. Blackhawks give up 1 goal per period. They only score in the second, and they fall 3-1 to the Flyers. That extends this losing streak to 6 games. Blackhawks have lost 6 in a row, and I don't think that losing streak is going to end anytime soon, unfortunately, because tonight they'll be on the road in Dallas. If you've seen any Dallas Stars hockey in the last couple of years, that is a juggernaut of a team. Dallas Stars that'll be a 7 p.m. puck drop tonight, but the Dallas Stars are sitting in second in the Central Division. 25-7-6 is their record, followed by a game at home. So the Blackhawks do come home before the end of the new year against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Pittsburgh has had a much better year this year. They're still having goaltending issues after that trade. I know we've talked about it to death on this show, but it's still Sidney Crosby, it's still Evgeny Malkin, and it's still no Connor Bedard anytime soon for this Chicago Blackhawks team. That's a 6 p.m. puck drop tomorrow. And then Tuesday, the Blackhawks stay at home against a New York Islanders team that has played much better this year. 7:30 p.m. puck drop on NHL Network. The other two you can find on CHSN or the ESPN Plus app. Thursday, January 1st, we get into the new year, a 7:30 puck drop against Dallas, which is kind of funny because they played Dallas a lot right around this time last year. I remember it was the last home game right up against the Winter Classic, which was on New Year's Eve. Dallas will be on January 1st at 7:30. That'll be indoors, though. No more outdoor games for the Blackhawks anytime soon. Thank goodness.
Yeah, no need.
And that'll be on CHSN as well before they go on the road to face Alexander Ovechkin. So they're going to see Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin in the same week. That'll be a road game Saturday night at 6 p.m.
And my brother, Wyatt Johnston.
Yes, yeah. Yes, they'll see them. And
it was interesting. Always good to see Wyatt and, of course, Quentin of the Los Angeles Chargers, my other brother.
Oh, good job.
They always say, "Hey, you and Quentin always look alike." I'm like, I know. I think it's something in the eyes.
You're just a T away from Ben.
Something like that. I always
from
tell
Bears
him,
head coach Ben Johnson.
If I was 3 inches taller and could actually run not a 6 second 40 yard dash, I'd probably be pretty good. But yeah, no, like you said, it is always tough around this time. Yeah, these guys just seem like they're playing like just top high end hockey right now. I also took a look at a different division, but not even same division. Looking at Colorado right now.
Colorado does not lose this year. Colorado,
61
all
points.
Denver teams this year. You've got the
Nuggets are going crazy. The
Nuggets,
Broncos are the 1 seed.
Broncos are the 1 seed in the AFC, which nobody, I think, saw coming. Yes, Bo Nix has a great rookie season. Do you think he's going to regress a little bit in his sophomore season? Maybe, maybe not. But I don't think they expected the Broncos to be the 1 seed.
Yeah.
And then, the Colorado Avalanche do not lose games. I believe, let me double check this. The Colorado Avalanche have not lost back-to-back games all year long.
It wouldn't make sense. Yeah, they're 27-2-7. So, yeah, if they're not counting the overtime losses and whatnot, they're only 2. Yeah.
That's insane.
No back-to-back losses from what I'm seeing from this stretch. Yeah, not even close.
Yeah, no back-to-back losses. That's incredible. That's dominance right there. And I understand Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon are big aspects to that.
Well, it was an overtime loss, a shootout loss, an actual loss, and then an overtime loss, 4 straight. But if you're talking straight up losses, then no.
Right, yeah. Losing in regulation, though, has not been their forte.
Nope.
Which is, I guess, good for Colorado, bad for the rest of the league. So
yeah, they made up for it by rattling off 10 wins in a row in November. So yeah, they're good. They're doing just fine.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, the AHL took a little bit of a holiday break too. We've got some more games coming up for your both the Chicago Wolves and the Rockford Ice Hogs. The Wolves will be at Wells Fargo Arena tonight at 6 p.m. against the Iowa Wild. Meanwhile, the Ice Hogs will be at home for a holiday game against the Texas Stars. I believe by the end of the show, I'll double check. I believe there is some kind of a special something or other going on. Rockford will be on the road on Tuesday, but not too far off. They'll be up in Milwaukee at UW Panther Arena. That'll be against the Admirals at 6:30, followed by a New Year's Eve matinee doubleheader. You've got I guess it's just one game. The Wolves will be up in Rockford to take on the Ice Hogs, so it'll be one of the few meetings. I feel like we haven't seen it as much as we saw last year. It's maybe a little bit more backloaded this year. The matchups between Chicago and Rockford, so we'll get that rivalry right on New Year's Eve. But you know what else is going on New Year's Eve that I will be in attendance for?
What's that?
The first meeting, I believe, in Detroit between these two teams. It'll be the Red Wings and the Jets, which means it'll be Patrick Kane versus Jonathan Toews.
Oh, wow.
So I will be in attendance for that one, taking a little New Year's Eve road trip.
Nice.
I'll be able to report on that one and let everybody know how the past Blackhawks do in that one, as the regular Blackhawks kind of, I don't know, prepare for what's to come in the new year, maybe getting Connor Bedard back. And the youth movement is crucial here in Chicago, and that is ever so highlighted when it becomes the time that the World Junior Championships come around. The IIHF World Juniors started just the other day. That is usually a Christmas through a little bit into the new year style tournament. The first goal of the tournament, of course, Sweden played Slovakia in that noon game, local time yesterday. Was it the day before? I think it might have been on Christmas. No, it was yesterday. Yeah, December 26th. First goal of the tournament scored by Anton Frundell, the Blackhawks' most recent first-round draft pick, that forward out of Sweden. So good things could be coming for this Blackhawks team, knowing that Frundell is getting the scoring started. But if you're an American like us, you were also happy that the Americans got a 6-3 victory the other night in that game against Germany. So they've started things hot. Of course, Canada and Czechia, they have a little bit of a rivalry brewing, a 7-5 victory for Canada. And I know Dalton and I will probably be looking at the future of this tournament and seeing when it's going to be USA versus Canada. But I think that Canadian team is a scary one. We've got the USA at 17 o'clock today. That would be, I believe that's still in local time. So you have to check your listings as to, I don't think that's our local time. I think that's wherever, where is this being held? Let me double check that as we get to it. But of course, that would normally be 5 o'clock. But I don't know if that's our 5 o'clock. Let me double check that, because I believe it's, I guess I could click buy tickets and see where it takes me.
There we go.
Ticketmaster. But as we'll be keeping everybody informed as this goes.
It's never
on.
good with military time, but it's always embarrassing when they say something like that, and I got to start counting with my hands. All right, 12, 13, 14.
This is in our time zone, because this is in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
Grand Casino Arena in St. Paul, Minnesota. Did not realize that. Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so yeah, we'll be keeping you posted on the IIHF World Junior Championships as they go on here. This is going to kind of be a little bit of a precursor to the Olympics. It's the young guys, so they're not, of course, the ones that are going to also be on the Olympic squads, but it's going to be country versus countries, best on best at the youth level. And then, we will get the Winter Olympics in February in Milan. So hopefully that arena is built by then, because I know that they were still talking about that quite a bit when it comes to the hockey side of things. But I'm just excited for Olympics in general. Yeah. We'll be bringing more hockey news to you next week as we continue to cover the Ice Hogs, the Wolves, the Steel, even the Blackhawks, despite them falling to the very bottom of the standings. But we've got a little bit of news in the baseball realm before we head into the new year, and it's mostly on the south side. The White Sox, they have picked up Japanese prospect Murakami Munetake.
He said in the presser, "Call me Moone," and I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah, so
Make it nice and easy.
Yeah, Moone is coming to the
It's all
south
about the
side.
Moone. We don't need your Moone.
I don't think anybody saw this coming. This was out of left field, no pun intended.
Oh, yeah.
Not because he's a left fielder. He's mostly a third baseman and first baseman. It looks like the White Sox are looking to slot him in at first base. This could be one of the best infields in the AL.
Oh, yeah.
If it comes to fruition. You have Miguel Vargas at third. Solid third baseman. Solid bat in the lineup as well. You've got Colson Montgomery, who's playing short right now. However, do you slide him over to second base because you're probably, most likely, going to draft one of the best shortstops in the last several drafts? I mean, we're talking maybe in the last 10 to 20 years in the draft.
The clear-cut number one.
There is a clear-cut number one, and the White Sox have the first overall draft pick. So, yeah, maybe you slide Colson over to second. That means you have Mydroth as an option. And then, I mean, now you're probably going to have
someone's got to play second.
Moone at first. So, a projected infield for this White Sox team. I wish I had my phone on me. I told Nick before the show. That'll be my Mamma Mia for today.
Yeah.
That I left my phone at home.
Oops.
I'm working off the iPad today. Still no laptop for me. But I had a bunch of things saved as far as stats going forward for what this White Sox team could look like. But it could look scary.
Oh, yeah.
And Moone is not just a great fielder when we talk about rounding out the infield. He's got power. Do you know in the 2010s, the entire 2010 to 2020, there was not a single White Sox player. Now, 2020 is a special case because it was a shortened season due to COVID, but there was not a single White Sox player that hit 40 home runs. And we're talking the White Sox still had Paul Konerko one of those years. He hit 39.
Yeah. Would have been Adam Dunn with 44.
Adam Dunn. But then also you had Todd Frazier
Yeah,
for a year
Todd
in
Father,
there.
yeah.
And still, like I said, the start of Jose Abreu, which during the shortened season, you really couldn't get to 40 home runs, but he had a career year that year in that White Sox shortened season. They get to the wild card game. Unfortunately, it doesn't go their way against the A's, but we're talking about that team that was moving into their success into 2021, and then they were 500 in 2022, but there was still a lot of pieces there that could hit home runs. They just weren't healthy enough to stay consistent. So that's, to me, is a crazy stat that hopefully the addition of Munetake could change.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing that I'm hearing is, he's a big boy, so it means power bat. Not hearing a ton or the greatest on his defense, on his infield work and whatnot. I'm sure that could be learned and polished off later on down the line. I'm not opposed to just sticking him at DH for a little bit, let him get used to it, let him get used to the sights and the sounds and the fact that, well, exactly that. It's gonna be a hitter's ballpark that'll benefit him very much so for a decent amount of time, and then exactly that. Let him just hit and feel good that way, and then. You get you kind of ease everything else in afterward. And I already hate the people that are doing this already. They're like, okay, 2-year contract. You know who's done in 2 years? Freddie Freeman.
I saw that.
Go to the Dodgers. Shut your mouth.
I saw that
I'm
already.
sick of it.
This guy can't even play a single game with the White Sox, and they're already making him a Dodger.
Yeah, exactly. Give him 5 seconds. Wasn't he the one that said, "Yeah, I don't want to go to the Dodgers. I don't want to play against them. I don't want to play with them. I want to play against them."
Yes.
I mean, it should be that mentality across the board, not just from the Japanese players. It should be like, I don't want to have a super team. I want to beat. I want to beat the Mookie Bettses of the world. I don't want to join forces with them. I want to beat Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge and the Yankees. I don't want to join the Pinstripes. Have that mentality. I love that off the board. In his NPB, 8 seasons there, 246 home runs, 647 RBIs, batting average of 270, slugging 557, OPS of 951. I love that.
I don't know if it was Murakami that said that. it might have been the number 1 overall Japanese prospect,
maybe the pitcher.
Tatsuya Imai.
Yeah.
That the right-handed pitcher who said he didn't want to go to the Dodgers. He wants to beat
I think
them.
I made that mistake because we were talking about this the week or two before.
And before we even knew that the White Sox were going to make a move like this, because nobody had this on their radar, especially because Munetaka Murakami was listed as a third baseman, like I was kind of prefacing. And if you're the White Sox, you're comfortable with Miguel Vargas. Like you're not really, and that's why Munetaka will probably slot into that first base role, because you're not really going to move Miguel Vargas. I'm not saying he is the next Joe Creedy or, talk about, star third baseman. I'm trying to think of some around the league right now. Who's a star third? But you're always hearing about shortstop. I'm not saying he's the next Alex Rodriguez, Jose Ramirez, Pablo Sandoval. But I mean, I'm just saying, you're comfortable with Miguel at the hot corner. Munetaka, first base. There's a little bit of a hole there. I mean, you had a nice rotation this year with who you had at first.
Yeah, Vargas played there. I mean, obviously Vaughn early on in the season was playing first majority.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm not opposed to throwing him at first. I keep saying I feel like we keep ignoring. Who's going to play second? Unless I'm forgetting. Chase is going to play second, hopefully. I don't know.
This is where things get interesting.
Yeah.
Because let me just take a look at the White Sox depth chart. I was looking at the roster for a second, but I'd like to see the depth chart of what they have listed. Now, this is going to be ESPN, not the White Sox having this listed. But as far as infield goes, I mean, they still have Andrew Vaughn listed on the depth chart. This is so old. Never mind. ESPN fails us once again.
Yeah, we'll
but
put a pin in that one.
Yikes. Hey, ESPN, Andrew Vaughn had playoff time this year. You had plenty of time to change the White Sox depth chart on your website. I don't know, say maybe, just the entire season. But who am I thinking of that the White Sox had at first base? The young guy coming up. Elko, that's who it was.
Elko played first for a bit when he came up.
Yeah, I mean, you just got deeper at the first base spot. But like you were saying, as far as the second base position, I mean, you had Lenin Sosa there, but I don't think he fits in. Maybe he becomes a little bit of a utility player at this point. And Chase Mydroth was playing second base when you didn't have anybody out with injury, whether that was Miguel Vargas or Colson Montgomery. So you're going to have to put Colson Montgomery in your lineup.
Yeah, that is very funny.
I think he slots into that second base position. You also had Curtis Mead a little bit there too. I mean, that's maybe a deeper. It's an Australian. I didn't even realize that. Just like former White Sox closer.
I don't know what's
Liam
funnier.
Hendricks.
Sorry, I don't know what's funnier. Looking at the ESPN depth chart for the White Sox, if Andrew Vaughn not only still on the roster, starting at first base, like you mentioned, or having Joey Gallo as the backup right fielder.
Oh my God! What is this depth chart, ESPN? That's got to be from 2023. We're almost in 2026.
They still got Austin Slater.
Get it together.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. That is just ridiculous.
Do better.
Yeah,
I get it. Like I said, I get it. Like I said, it's off season. It's the White Sox. I get it, but come on, do better.
That's my Mamma Mia right there. If I didn't already have one, I think I already had one for this episode. But
my quick one is Malik Neighbors doing that IHOP commercial. I actually love that advertising, that the way that they're pushing this. Hey, if you're the loser, come to IHOP. Starting the day after the fantasy championship, start doing an all-you-can-eat pancake thing. That's pretty funny.
I'll do it. I don't even have to be a loser. Give me all the pancakes I can eat.
Exactly right.
Well, that is all of your sports news for this week. You can catch up more by checking us out on our socials. I'm at Mike Napolitano or Mike @_Napolitano. But also you can find us through AM 1410. It's just WRMN 1410 on Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Or you could just tune in every Saturday right here on AM 1410 for On the Rise. Myself and Nick Johnston. We'll see you in the new year.
Are you suffering with anxiety, depression, PTSD, an eating disorder, or even a substance abuse problem? If it's causing problems at work or with your family,